Hey kids, Conklin Rich here from Castles, Capes, and Clones, and I just wanted to pop in first and say that this is the spoiler-filled discussion of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series. This is part one. It ran long, so I split it up into two parts. There'll be chapters below, so if you're on YouTube itself, if you click on like more in the comment section, you can see a breakdown of chapters, and you can click on the timestamps to jump to that portion of the show. Or not, up to you. But yeah, I just want to let you know that this is a pretty long one, and I split it up. So this is part one. So if you've already seen this, jump to part two, which should be in a link below or on our page. Anyway, without further ado, here are me and Tom talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hey everybody, welcome to a Castles, Capes, and Clones discussion where we'll be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Plus series. Loren is feeling sick, so he won't be joining us, but we do have friend Tom. Hello, friend Tom.
Hello, it's good to be back.
Yeah, you've been around for a while. Been a busy boy.
Yeah, I've been too busy with work and whatnot.
Work.
Yeah.
Who needs money?
Yeah, and I do have a couple things for this channel that are on the back burner, so in due time.
Forward to it. Yeah, I do too. It's hot.
Yeah, it's too hot.
It's hot outside. I don't want to go. Well, yeah. I do go, but I'm with my family, and I don't like recording with my family around.
Yeah, you just want to go and just like enjoy the parks. Like that's why I miss having a pass, because I've gone a few times this year just without a pass.
Right.
It's a different experience, and and it's weird not having my camera with me, because I just want to enjoy the parks. That's the great thing about having a pass is I can just go by myself and just bring my camera with me and just shoot stuff. But
yeah, there's some news and rumors about all that stuff, but we'll probably talk about that in the live show.
Yeah.
This is not live. This is pre-recorded. Just so we are able to... We wanted to put this out sooner than later. One, Tom's going to be out of town for a little bit. I've got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and it's... Oh my God, it's July 4th weekend. So,
yeah.
I am going to the park this weekend.
Yeah.
Good luck to me. But yeah, and then Loren hasn't been feeling well, so we waited a little bit on the Obi-Wan stuff. We didn't talk about it last week because we wanted to give people a chance to see it.
Yeah.
So this is the show all about Obi-Wan. We're going to be talking about it. So if you have not seen Obi-Wan Kenobi the series, all 6 episodes, go watch them. Go on Disney Plus.
Please. Do it.
I'm sure if you watch this channel, you have Disney Plus.
Most likely.
Most likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, then once you watch it, come back. Like I said, this is pre-recorded, so it'll be on the channel. But Obi-Wan Kenobi. Years in the making. This is something that Ewan McGregor has denied many, many times over the years.
I remember that video.
Yeah.
All the way back when Disney just bought Lucasfilm. He was in an interview for something else. I forgot what it was for, but of course someone asked him, and you could see in his face, you're like, he wants to say something but he can't. So
yeah, I get it.
We've been waiting.
It's just,
I get it too.
It was like the worst kept secret.
We all kind of saw it coming, and I just remember him I don't know if I'm at liberty to talk about it. You already gave away.
It was like, well, they asked me.
Yeah, just all right, that's it. We're getting it at some point. It took a while, but we got it.
But yeah, I mean, we should be used to this with everything Star Wars and Marvel. That's so secretive. Yeah. More so for Star Wars, but here we are. I remember I was looking at my Facebook, and there was something about it years ago, maybe 7 years ago already, where I mentioned something about a Obi-Wan Kenobi movie at the time. So this has been percolating for quite some time.
Yeah.
But now that we've had it, all 6 episodes, it comes. I think it comes to like 3, almost 4 hours of content.
Mhm.
What are you feeling? How you feeling about it?
I I mean, I love it like so much, and I've had this kind of internal debate with myself, and I'm wondering as far as the shows is concerned. Um, I I'm torn. Do I like it more than Mando?
Mm.
And I think as of right now, it is a super close tie. But it is I've watched it twice now.
Nice.
Um, as I've done with Mando, and I think through time, and this has been a thing with me in like other movies and series, where I have this debate like which one of these two things do I like more than the other? Like like just like that. There's a few other movies where I've had that debate, like I don't know, and it took me like 10 years to finally decide. Okay, this is the winner. So get back to me in 10 years and I'll decide. But I will say,
Cool.
I feel like I will say that so far, if I was forced to make a choice between Mando and Obi-Wan, like gun to my head, kind of like you better decide right now, I'm gonna have to go with Obi-Wan.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, to my surprise, because I had bigger emotional responses to Obi-Wan
Yeah.
than Mando.
Yeah, I like the series. The I don't. Well, we don't know yet if it's like a series, but I like
Yeah.
this show.
Yes.
Whether or not I like it more, I definitely like it more than Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Um, and there's some things I want to talk about compared to it, but it's the Mando show is also different in that
Yeah.
it's an episodic show where this is one
Yeah.
continual story.
It's pretty much one super long movie that was split up. Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird because in the Star Trek universe, I actually prefer the more episodic shows like Next Generation and all that era, and then the new Strange New Worlds
Yeah.
because it feels Star Trek. Whereas Star
Yeah.
Wars, I think Obi-Wan, like I am also debating whether or not I like it better than Mando, and I think it's with Obi-Wan, it's basically a 6-part movie, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Mandalorian, it's telling a story, but it's broken up. Sometimes I don't even know how much time has passed between episodes. Like I don't know how long Mando and Grogu were just flying around doing
Yeah.
whatever, right? It doesn't seem like it's the next day this happened, the next day this happened. It seems like they've been going about for maybe
A while.
months, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think there are definitely more emotional things and beats in Obi-Wan. And
Yeah.
I think overall, I might it might edge. It depends on my mood, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's
Which
it's
makes sense.
it's kind of it's up there.
It's
So
definitely up there.
yeah, I mean, I have with all Star Wars, I have issues with some aspects of it. And then there's still a lot of questions, I think,
Yeah.
going forward, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, so I want to talk about the characters, right?
Yeah.
And we'll hit upon Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, the two big ones. But like, I wanted to talk about Reva for a second, and
Mhm.
that's one um, when the episodes first aired, there was a lot of backlash against the character and like more disturbingly, the actress Moses
Yeah.
Ingram, um, about this character and her being in it. Um, and not to dive too much into the negative aspects of it, but there's like so much so that Ewan McGregor in his car had
Yeah.
to put out a video, calling out. Basically, he called out like these aren't fans, people who are bringing in race, and it's all kind of really saying some really heinous stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is a huge understatement. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, so you take the criticisms of race and gender aside, and the whole wokeness of it as a character herself. Um, Now that we've seen her story play out through all the episodes, what are your thoughts on her character as the third sister?
Yeah. Third sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. It's why I can't keep track of who's
Yeah.
the brothers and sisters are. Like Reva. The only one has a name, so that makes it easy.
Yeah. So far. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought her character was great. Again, I'm comparing her to Kylo in kind of obvious ways, because because the majority, as as far as like Force users, for the most part, has been good turning bad, and then that's kind of the end of it for the most part, minus Vader eventually, as we know. But that's what was, yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
um it's like, I remember that being a thing with Kylo in The Force Awakens. It's just like he's getting tugged by the light and he doesn't like that. But and she's very similar, but I thought it was funny that people's criticisms of her character, like outside of the heinous stuff, I mean, just their issues with it was, oh, just like they were just being impatient and not letting the story be told.
That's what I don't understand. It's like,
Yeah, just like
you obviously there's a arc here. How
yeah,
can you
it's
judge
gotta wait.
someone from just like it's a story? Like if
Yeah.
we judge Luke Skywalker by his first appearance, like he's a whiny little brat.
Yeah. It just, like, it takes time. Just everyone just needs to, like, my general feeling about the negative fan reactions to Obi-Wan has been, like, minus, again, I'm removing the heinous stuff, like people being hypercritical and all that. Is just, my response has been, everyone needs to calm down and just enjoy Star Wars.
Yeah, that's another
That's
thing.
it.
Like, Star Wars is never meant to be like The Godfather and like
No.
movies that win like Academy Award for Best Picture that you only see that once and forget about it. Right? It's I mean, they're based off matinee serials that George used to watch as a kid. Flash Gordon, all those kind of cheesy kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, just it's Star Wars is a wonderfully, beautifully cheesy
Yes.
space opera.
Yeah.
That
Wookiees.
is,
You got big lizards in space.
Yeah.
You got snails in space. Oh,
yeah, it's. I mean, eventually, probably. It's just like, but there are
slugs. That's what
slugs. There are deeper themes in there, like with any kind of creative medium. Like, just I like her character. Like, there's something there. Like, her arc completely paid off. Like, I knew there were, like, from the beginning. I'm like, you're intrigued. You're like, what's her deal? Why is she so aggressive in this way? And I'm like, there's something going on here, and I can't wait to find out what it is. And then we found out what it was, and it made perfect sense, because that was a question that I always had after Sith came out. Was like, were there any more survivors outside? Like, I remember thinking, like, even when I was a kid, before we got the prequels, because it was always implied that, not implied, like, pretty much told by Yoda and Obi-Wan, like, there was a council, there was a bunch of Jedi Knights, like potentially thousands of them. There were so many of them, And I just remember as a kid thinking, like, there's no way there's only two left. There's got to be some more out there, even if they're like were there kids? Were there like little kid Jedi Knights? Like, and then we got more of those answers in the prequels. Yeah, there were little kids, there were younglings, there were teenagers, like you name it, different species. And even after Sith, I just remember thinking, like, and and even like Obi-Wan does his like decoded message thing in the temple, just like I'm sending out this decoded message for any other stragglers out there, telling them not to avoid Coruscant, just stay hidden. And I just
Yeah.
remember thinking, who else is out there? And it would
Yeah.
make sense that some of the younglings got out somehow. As we know, we found out
Yeah.
Grogu was saved. We don't know how exactly in detail, but we know he was. Kids were rescued, and finding out that she was a youngling who saw horrible, horrible things. Literally seeing one of your, probably for her, one of your Jedi heroes turn on you and slaughter your friends and your family, pretty much. Her feeling resentment toward her fellow Jedi who are now just not doing anything about it, that she knows survived, and also extreme hatred for for pretty much the equivalent of a master, officially turned bad, and is now this huge Sith Lord. It makes perfect sense. Like, her motivations were insanely relatable for me. I totally get it. So I
Yeah.
thought her arc was wonderful, and I thought she was used extremely well.
Like,
Personally,
was she over the top? Sure, but
yeah, but
one,
it's Star
Star Wars is
Wars.
always over the top, but also she's now that we know, like, she had a duality to her, right?
Yeah,
So it could be a lot of it just overcompensating for what she has to do. Like, she wants to make sure that Vader thinks that she is, worthy of the Grand Inquisitor spot.
mhm.
Like, she's gonna, like, you know, the scenes with her as a youngling getting stabbed by Vader. And if you haven't made the connection, like, he doesn't like outright kill her. He
Mhm.
stabs her in the stomach as a kid and did it
Yeah.
again as an adult, just to
Hmm.
drive that home.
Yeah.
Um but, like, it's and then, Obi-Wan, who knows, maybe she saw the call saying, like, avoid Coruscant, go into hiding, which means this little girl who faced one, like, someone who seems to be have been respected by the younglings at the time, turn evil and leave her for death, right? And there's no Jedi to come help her anymore. um so, and she's too young at that point to really embrace the Jedi code. Like, she's
Mhm.
still learning.
Yeah.
So, like, almost anybody probably that age would like, revenge seems to be the quick and easy path. So
Yeah.
she went for it. And so, in trying to convince the person who embodies this hatred in her, she's trying to match what she feels is extreme and total evil to make sure that she can get close to Vader and give her
Yeah.
the opportunity to basically take revenge on him. So, like, like, there's a lot of stories in Star Wars about fallen Jedi who realize their mistake and come back to the light.
Hmm.
This is one of the ones where, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah. Just say it. Yeah.
Where that Jedi lives on,
Hmm.
like Kylo, for example. Like, he comes back, he's Ben Solo again, but then dies. So we don't see what happens. Like,
Afterwards.
like, there's a certain, like, well, for all the heinous stuff that he did or is responsible for. Sure, he came back, but how's he supposed to go on? Right? What would Ben's story be if he lived? We'll
Yeah.
never know because he died.
Yeah.
Reva, on the other hand, this is someone who tried to, put her on the same level as Vader, failed in what she wanted, but luckily that failure was also her redemption. And
Mhm.
so if she lives on, which looks like she does, maybe we can finally see a complete journey of someone who started off good, fell to the dark side, and then came back and is live to go
Yeah.
on. And I'm hoping, and we'll talk about this later, but like hopefully
Mhm.
we do hear more from her. And I think
Yeah.
Moses Ingram's performance, what I liked about her performance is that as the adult, there are scenes where I see the Inquisitor, and there are scenes where I see the Padawan. Like
Yeah.
she somehow like hardens her face, but then softens it to almost like point where sometimes I'm looking at her going like this feels like a different person
Yeah.
altogether. And I think to her credit, that's not an easy thing to do, right?
No, no, it's not.
It's kind of like Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight between Steven and Mark. Like it's
Yeah.
two different people just with
Yeah.
his
And
face.
you can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's move on to the surprise-ish kind of. I heard rumors that this was part of the story. I didn't know how much it would be, but the inclusion of Leia Organa in the
See,
series.
I had no idea.
Right.
So when she showed up, I have to admit, I got really emotional. I was expecting it to be revolved around Luke,
Yeah.
but to my surprise, I just remember like just the first scene where a child, the equivalent of a child being dressed up. And I'm like, are we getting? Are we getting? Like, I saw Alderaan, and I was happy, and then I got sad because I know what happens, and I was like, why are they showing Alderaan? I'm like, are we gonna get Leia? And then she showed up, and I know I'm jumping ahead just a little bit in this particular question, but I just need to say it. Um, and I feel like a lot of us that just love Star Wars for what it is feel that if Carrie was still around, she would have absolutely adored
Oh,
this
yes.
actress and this casting and everything about it. This
I
is
think I agree. I agree.
it's Leia. That it's that simple.
Yeah, you can buy. Her name's Vivian.
Yeah,
Vivian Lyra Blair. I don't know if I'm
which
pronouncing
is
her middle name right.
a cool name.
Yeah. Um, who like you look at her and the way she acts, you're like, yep, this is this
That's
is the
Leia.
exact same person, or this is like the younger version of the woman who's eventually going to be like Darth Vader. Only you could be so bold. Like the
Yeah,
most
she's right to
scariest
his
looking
face.
looking dude in the galaxy, and she's just like, "What up,
Yeah. And
Vader?"
it's in Tarkin. She was like, "Oh, Tarkin, you're the one
Yeah,
holding Vader's leash." I'm like, "Geez, like,
like just the like presence of Darth Vader looks terrifying. Like, what is going on, right?
yeah,
And she's just like rolls up to him, like, and she's short, but like looking up, going like, "What?
yeah,
What?
yeah." Like what? Like,
What are you gonna do?"
yeah,
And yeah, you can totally see it. I mean, like, there's some people who complain like she's acting too kid like. I'm like, she's still a kid. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, she shouldn't. Like, why did she run off and why doesn't she believe Obi-Wan? Like this first couple episodes, I'm like, because she's a 10-year-old girl who didn't leave Alderaan ever.
yeah. She is so out of her element right now.
Yeah, there's like a little naivete about her, but at the same time, there's
Yeah,
she's sure of herself. So I'm like, that's you're comparing 10-year-old Leia to a New Hope Leia. Like
yeah,
there's still like 9 years, and if you think about it, from when you were 10 to when you were 19, those 9 years is a big 9 years.
It's a huge. It may as well be 20 years.
Yeah,
It's huge.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem
So
like we have to like really think about it. Like think about what you're like when you're 10, and think about what you're
yeah,
like when you were 20.
like I've
Night and day.
known you for a little over a decade, and it
Yeah,
doesn't seem that long, right? Like our
no,
personalities and who we are really hasn't changed that much in those
yeah,
10 plus years. That's because we've pretty much formed who we are for the
yeah,
most part.
yeah,
But if you took 10-year-old me and like 10-year-old you, and then 20-year-old me and 20-year-old you, those are like totally different people.
yeah,
So yeah, of course Leia's still going to be a kid because she's a kid.
yeah.
I don't understand that aspect of it.
Just
Like kid's got a kid,
yeah,
so whatever. I don't know what you expect her to be like exactly the way Leia
exactly
was,
like that.
just shorter.
Yeah, way shorter, but she still. What's great about her is she still has that Leia like just you know no no BS approach pretty much,
Yeah.
which is great.
Um, do you think our inclusion breaks canon? That's a big thing
Breaks
that's going on.
canon. Uh
Like the whole story, like when we see her in A New Hope with the hologram, she's
mhm,
like, General Kenobi, you served my father in the Clone Wars. But it was so formal, it didn't
yeah.
seem like people are like that doesn't seem like that's the same person. Like, how do you not? That's not how you talk to basically the person who you went on an adventure with when you were 10 years old, like that.
I can understand people's point of view with that, but
Yeah.
considering uh the life she led as pretty much an official delegate, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is still an element of like we experienced things before. Her last line, the way she says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, your only hope." She didn't need us. If there wasn't anything previous, I don't think she would have said that. Personally, I understand that when they made A New Hope, none of this was even.
What?
Yes, believe it or not.
Right. Yeah.
So this is just it's like what happened with the Clone Wars with the series. We're filling in gaps to add more depth to a story that was told 40 years ago,
Right.
and and we can assign new things to it, like what happened, like Captain Rex. Or a while ago, before I started watching the show, I already knew who he was, but you told me something about Dave Filoni and someone asking about this random trooper in Return of the Jedi while they're on the moon of Endor. That looks kind of like what Captain Rex would look like with the beard. And they're like, it looks kind of like him. And Filoni was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's him now.
Yeah. They made it
Or
canon.
like, yeah, why not? Like, just like, cool. Yeah, that wasn't who it was before that moment and before Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But I think it's wonderful. I don't think it breaks canon, to answer the question more directly. I think it enhances it. There is
Yeah.
like I sent you a meme. I think I sent you and Loren a meme that I screenshot on Twitter of someone taking a few screenshots from like her holding Obi-Wan's hand in Obi-Wan
Uh,
Kenobi in the show, and then and then that shot from "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." And I think I even said, "I'm going to cry right now," like because yeah, before you knew there was something, you get this kind of like subconscious feeling like there's history here. But what is it? Like why did she say? Like you really think about it. Why would she say
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Like we go from official to that.
Like all these things that are there, Disney, Lucasfilm are doing now is like you said, they're filling in gaps.
Mhm.
And when people talk, it doesn't mean like even like you and me, or you in the audience. Sometimes when you talk, you're not thinking about your life canon. Like, are you saying something that matches whatever? Like, sometimes you're just talking.
Yeah.
At 19, Leia was a senator, so she's diplomatic, and she has to be also very careful because remember, this is during the rebellion. It's not like she was openly, like, even you can tell by the conversation she's having with Vader. She is a senator, so she's supposed to be on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. So she's part of the Empire.
Yeah.
You got to remember
Official.
that she is officially part of the Empire. Just like when Luke is talking about going to the Academy, that's the Imperial Academy. He's not
There
going out
wouldn't be
to
a
be,
rebel
there's no
academy.
rebel
Yeah.
academy. He wanted to become like a TIE fighter pilot.
Yeah.
So this is the government we're talking about here. So she has to be very careful. Like but she's also the leader of the rebellion, or one of the leaders. So she's always got to be very careful about what she says, right? But the thing that it enhances is the moment when Luke Skywalker walks into the detention cell, and he's like, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you." She's like, "Whatever, little dude." And then
Yeah.
he's like, I'm here with Ben Kenobi.
She has
And
this big
she
reaction.
jumps up and she's like, Ben Kenobi, where? Because she knows at that point, like, it enhances that moment. If you think about it, she has to be diplomatic, can't say, like, remember when we went off and did all this kind of stuff? Can you help me now? It's like, no, I have to be Senator Organa and have to be like, you've served my father in the Clone Wars, asking for your help. Also, kind of like hiding the fact, and they kind of do touch on it later, but like, also want to hide their actual relation to the Organas and Kenobi, right? Because no one at this point thinks that Ben's gonna die. No. Spoiler alert in For New Hope. So if you think about that whole thing that she has to do as being a senator, and then the moment that she hears the name Ben Kenobi, it makes that scene so much better, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it broke canon at all. Even the whole thing about, like, when they're saying, like, you're the last Jedi, or last of the Jedi you will be. It is a certain point of view, because you can say Ahsoka was around, but she left the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
If you look at Jedi as an institution, people left. People went into hiding. They were no longer Jedi. What Ben and Yoda were trying to do was make Luke a Jedi Knight.
Yeah. Officially. Yeah.
Officially a Jedi Knight, which at the time, probably, who knows what Ezra's doing, but he was never a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
He was trained by, outside of the Jedi temple and stuff by at the time, just a normal Jedi, who was also in hiding and didn't really call himself a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So all the survivors and all those kind of things, from a certain point of view, that still is canon. Like,
yeah,
the intentions of Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi with Luke were that he was the last of the Jedi, and they both knew about Leia.
Yeah.
Right?
But she wasn't. Yeah, but she wasn't a part. I mean, yeah, Yoda does mention there is another. Seems like he is implying Leia,
right?
But still,
and you can also back canon this as well, where why didn't Obi-Wan know? I think he did. Like, you can say, like, he did know, but because of his experience with Leia, I think he knew she would be more useful in her role, not as Jedi, but like as part of that system. That was her strength. And I think, when he's talking to Leia about Padme, I think that's what he sees. Like, I see Padme in her. Like, she'll be stronger trying to fight the system than trying to be the Jedi. Like, that's Luke's destiny. And Yoda's kind of like, yeah, but Leia's still there. Like,
she does exist.
She does exist. So that could be something. Or who knows? Maybe Yoda even knows other people.
Yeah, he at this point he could be
still out there.
yeah he could be referring to someone else that wasn't obviously at the time during Empire. You know,
Yeah.
They again filling in the gaps, and it's up to interpretation, which is fine.
All right. Like we can honestly, I think we could talk about this series for hours upon end. But like,
We'll have a
let's
6-hour episode of this.
episode 1
Yeah.
of 6. So let's get to Vader.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I want to ask: did it feel like the Vader we knew from A New Hope, and at the same time, did this Vader make you understand and feel like it was Anakin as in the suit? Like, because when we first meet Vader, we hear the name Anakin in A New Hope, but we don't know who that person is. And even when the prequels came out and you go to A New Hope and you see him, like because it's a different thing. Like it's Vader to me. To me, it doesn't feel like Anakin is there. It's totally Vader. But this series is meant to be a bridge between the prequels and the original trilogy. So, how do you think? Like, does it feel like this is a smooth transition from Revenge of the Sith to Rogue One / A New Hope?
Yes, I feel like this fills in that because I felt the same way. I felt like it felt like two completely separate characters, Anakin versus Vader, and this was a bridge for me because I'm like I feel like there should be at least a little because I remember at the end of Sith, it felt very abrupt and just like all of a sudden he's this whole pretty much this kind of this whole new character. Like there should be some conflict, and we got it in this. So I do feel that this added way more layers to Vader as a character and Vader / Anakin because you see more of that. You see some of the more obvious leftovers of Anakin in this, which improves his character. But also at the same time, I mean, I have a lot of issues with Rogue One, but we've talked about this. But one of the great things about Rogue One was the very end.
Yeah.
They made Vader terrifying again, and this did that way more than Rogue One. Like I thought,
yeah,
like oh
this
yeah,
is like hold my beer, Rogue One.
yeah, just like now I'm just like, I mean, I don't again, me person. I mean, I know a lot of people love Rogue One. That's fine. You can love it. I don't care for it. For me, just give me the last 30 minutes and I'm good. So the battle at the end is great. It's a lot of fun. But it just to me, like I could skip Rogue One for my life and be fine. For me, this is a far superior in between Sith and A New Hope than Rogue One was before. I can personally go the rest of my life not watching Rogue One ever again. But to me, this made Vader like I remember especially as we know there's one particular episode Vader does a lot, and it seemed like they just weren't holding. I remember there was even like they added like little disclaimers in the beginning of some episodes like
Yeah,
there's some scary stuff in this, just viewer discretion advised. I remember
I
seeing
think
that
it
I'm
was
like
more.
what
It
are they
was
gonna
like
do?
it's not even just that. It was like it's what he did, and then basically this is the reenactment again. His part of Order 66
Yeah,
against children, and in
yeah,
today's climate, especially so soon after Texas,
yeah,
you know, but they went there, and there's a lot of people who kind of want to see the good in Vader early. And I think that would have been a mistake. I think we really
yeah.
need Anakin to be and embody the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
He's pure evil when we meet him in A New Hope.
Yeah.
because that makes what Luke does for his father all the more powerful,
Yeah.
and how Luke was the only one to break free or break through to him. Um, so just like the first time we see him in the series, where he's just walking down Main Street, he's dragging people, breaking people's necks.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like this is a
Yeah.
Disney show. People,
Yeah.
people
It
who are
was.
like, Disney's gonna Disney-fy everything. Like, you got Darth Vader killing kids and like just going like
Yeah.
dragging some woman behind him for no apparent reason, just to be
Just
cruel.
because. Yeah. Just like snapping
Just
necks and throwing people and just what he does to Obi-Wan and at the end of that episode was insane.
yeah,
And it adds so much because and I for me there's so many parallels to my favorite of all Star Wars, as you know, is Empire Strikes Back. And that's the end duel with between Vader and Luke. And it just on the off chance anyone watching this hasn't noticed this little detail before, because I love talking about it so much, and that's how Luke is dueling versus how Vader's dueling. Vader's just one-handed, just whatever, like this kid, he doesn't know
yeah,
what he's doing. He is just messing with Luke the entire time up until the end, obviously, because he gets really angry because Luke is holding his own by then, at least a bit more than he was in the beginning. He's doing the same thing with Obi-Wan. He's just toying with them. We know at that where we see for the first time, like really, Vader in his prime as far as power is concerned.
oh, yeah.
He could have he probably could have easily like just cut Obi-Wan to shreds without even really trying. But he
Yeah.
wanted him to suffer.
Yeah.
And
You know,
that's what we got.
and there's people complain that why did he let him go that first time, and it is exactly that, because when you are trying to break somebody, and that's what his style is. Like
Mhm.
his first fight with Obi-Wan, his fight with um, Reva, he is not just defeating you with his skill, but he's also mentally beating you down.
Yeah.
So the worst thing he can do for Obi-Wan is to let him burn and suffer, let him go to bring hope, and then
And then bring
destroy
him
him
down again.
and bring
Yeah.
him down again. Like this cycle of just like failure after failure, and him holding over him like, you will never defeat me. You can try, but I am the better person. And that's reflective of the lesson when we see them sparring in the flashback scenes, right? But yeah, I this is the we've talked about how we would do our own kind of Star Wars movies with Boba Fett
Yeah.
and later Vader. This is what I wanted from Vader, like the scene
Yeah.
in whatever that mining area thing where he just like appears
Yeah.
like Mike Myers,
Yeah.
even though
Pretty much.
even though he's breathing the way he breathes,
Yeah.
and it's like this unknown of where he is, and like that's what I wanted from a Boba Fett movie or whatever we're talking about. Which I later, when they announced doing Boba Fett, I'm like, all right, well, there goes that idea. But what if it
Yeah.
was Vader instead?
Yeah.
That is the Vader I want. I want horror movie Vader where he just
Yeah.
is there. He doesn't say much, very little, but you can feel his presence, kind of like the Jaws, from or the shark from Jaws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Less is more,
Yeah.
but when he's there, oh my god.
Yeah. Making one heck of an impact. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
No,
that
I was shaking literally when, especially in that episode. Even in the following one, like the way, so like the scene, when they're in that I forgot the name of the Inquisitor base.
the Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yes, thank you. Now I'm less surprised that I forgot what it was called specifically. But just when he shows up there and just the way he's walking and he's angry and he, right, and him force choking and lifting Reva. I'm like, he's terrifying. And again, he was terrifying when I was a kid, but they amplified that. Like, and as you said, like this makes his redemption in Return of the Jedi so much more powerful than it already was.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, there's no way this guy can come back. Look at all this horrible stuff he's doing. But it just his I never really cared for Vader that much compared to other characters in Star Wars before. But he has really, really been bumped up specifically because of this show for me personally.
Yeah. I mean, his fight with Reva.
Yeah.
Reva?
Yeah.
Like that's the ultimate like insult to injury fight.
Yeah. He didn't
He's
even
like,
take
I
it.
don't even have my. You don't need my saber, dude. Like,
He leaves it on his side the whole time.
Yeah, I will defeat you with your own saber.
Yeah. It's like yeah.
My favorite part, he's just like hold both sabers, like he tosses the one half down. He's like,
He just gives it here.
Like I
Good
dare you
luck.
to pick it up.
Yeah.
I keep going. And then, like I said in the beginning, like he like, did you really think I didn't see who she was? And then like again, like people are like, why didn't he just kill her? That's not the point.
That's not the point.
It's like mental. It's a mental destruction. Like he stabs her again.
And to add on to that, and to add on to all of that, him, here, your own lightsaber I just took from you. He calls her youngling.
Yes.
He didn't have to call her that. He called her youngling. Like, he's just getting more into her head.
Yeah. Like when I'm watching
yeah,
these shows like Marvel, even Game of Thrones when it was good. If you ever watch, well, I know no one ever watches me watch these things, but like if I stand up and walk to the TV and stand there, I'm like, oh my, I got up and I'm like staring at this evil man just play with this Inquisitor. Like, what is going on here? He's just like, nope.
Yeah.
Sidestep. Nope. Force. Nope. No. Oh, let me take that from you. Let me stop your little spinny blade. But yeah. And we can't not talk about Vader without talking about Hayden Christensen, who, we didn't get a lot of him. We did, but we don't see him, right?
Yeah.
There was that like kind of like mirage-y moment where you just kind of see it like disfigured Anakin, in Obi-Wan's mind at that point. But like in the flashback scene, technical things aside, I bought that was like the Anakin that we didn't like, the pre Attack of the Clones Anakin.
Yeah. I'm going to draw a comparison here because I remember seeing people complain like, oh, why didn't CGI de-age him? Why he looks old now? And I'm like, I remember reading that like on Twitter. I'm just like sitting here like, please, like it just like because I've talked about like my all-time favorite show like ever, or at least second anyway, like ever, and it's Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Completely different than what we're talking about right here. So, and I know you haven't watched them, so, but I know you know enough to know that Better Call Saul is a prequel series to Breaking Bad. Yes. Pretty much all the characters at some point show up from Breaking Bad. Obviously, they all look different. They're all older, but it's fine. We're just like, all right, we're all adults here.
Yeah.
Just use your like to people. just like what I think is funny is that if they did like quote unquote de-age Anakin a little bit, people wouldn't complain about that too. Oh, it looks weird. Why didn't you just
He
leave it at
looks
what like
too
just like
young. Like, oh
yeah,
my
just
god, looks
like
like a
it's
baby.
just yeah, just people would have
Like,
complained about that too.
like, Star Wars. It's funny. Like, Star Wars is a very weird thing where it drives forward technology. At the same time, when watching A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, we know we're looking at special effects, and like you look at the Rancor, you can totally tell that it's a special effect. You can
Yeah.
totally tell when Lando and Han Solo are talking in front of a painting, that's a special effect. With the advent of like DVD and stuff, you watch Empire, you can see through the snowspeeder cockpit.
Yeah.
You can see through it
Yeah, you can
because
see through it.
at the time they're just like, you're gonna see it for like 2 seconds maybe and not pay
Yeah.
attention. But like,
There's no way you're going to see this in a super insane high quality. And now look at us.
and then people was like the guy who was able to, what's it called? Put Luke's Mark Hamill's face on Luke better than they did in the Mandalorian season 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
And that's like, you also got to understand this is also still a TV show. This is not, and it's not Jeff Bezos going like, I will spend $800 million on an episode of Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or whichever one he's spending. Whichever one's a more expensive one. It's like $200 million an episode. Like, Disney's still producing a bunch of movies and a bunch of TV shows, right? And like, luckily we have the volume that allows them to do a lot of these things. Is it? Can you now tell when things are filmed there and does it look weird and whatever? Sometimes, sure.
See, for me, and I'm sorry, I'm reflecting of a kind of like a review video of other YouTubers that I love, who normally kind of like in a fun way like talk trash about Star Wars, but not in like a hateful way. They just kind of make fun of it, but they still like it. Like, and they liked Obi-Wan, and one of the things they said was like they liked that you can kind of tell that Obi-Wan has a lower budget that almost adds to it. Like going back to like, they have this one set that they had to take advantage of and be creative with, and you can tell. And as far like, again, I know we're kind of going off track here a little bit with the whole, and Hayden being 40. It's just so he has some extra lines in his face, like we're just
you get what's going on. This is a flashback. Like, it's not like totally old Anakin.
No, he doesn't. He's not a 70-year-old trying to come off as a 20-year-old. Like, I guess in this case it would have been younger, but still, like,
it's fine.
What matters is, what's the story are we telling? We're getting a flashback of. I mean, granted, between the two of them, I mean, Ewan looks great. like
Ewan is the Paul Rudd of the Star Wars.
Yeah, you're just like, how old is he? Like wow, when I saw him, I was like, wow, he looks completely the same than he did in the Attack of the Clones. Yeah, but everyone ages differently.
Is that in like 12 or 11 years, he will be the age that Alec Guinness is in A New Hope. And you look at him and go like, there's no way. But they will be the same age.
It's a movie. It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. Like it drives technology and filmmaking techniques forward, but at the same time, it's not perfect. Like, and it's a TV show. Like, they wouldn't be able to do this TV show 5 years ago. I don't know what kind of story they would have told, but they couldn't do it on a budget. That's the reason why George didn't move forward with his shows, because
I remember they
can't afford it.
I remember they tried. Like, there was a show, I think they shot a pilot, and then George was like, "This costs way too much money. There's no way we can do this."
Yeah,
but thankfully technology
to pay $200 million for whatever.
Technology has caught up. We can do this stuff now. Yeah. So, I'm again what I said earlier. People trying to overanalyze. Oh, it looks funky. Oh, why is this here and this not? Just use your imagination. Just like the same kind of imagination that created Star Wars to begin with. Just
People are so, like as much as Jurassic Park
Mhm.
was amazing, and
Yeah.
like seeing a dinosaur like that for the first time, that's not like a stop motion dinosaur
Yeah.
that we were all used to before then. Amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a luxury. Like I think we like a lot of people masses have been spoiled by the fact that everything needs to look perfect.
Mhm.
And that costs money and time, and sometimes at the cost of what's going on. And I think
Mhm.
balancing that has been what the TV shows for both Marvel and Star Wars have done pretty well.
Yeah.
We're getting, almost movie quality stuff on
Yeah.
television week
Yeah.
to week. Is Andor going to look different? Sure, because they know they spent money on sets and stuff and locations,
Mhm.
but what will suffer because of it? He's still on a budget, so we'll see. But yeah, it's whatever. Um, but speaking of effects, the James Earl Jones
Mhm.
aspect of this, um, and they haven't said it, but I'm pretty sure this is the same technology they used for Luke's voice in
Yeah.
Mandalorian and Boba
That's
Fett.
what I assumed.
Right? It's him, but it's not him. Like I don't think he was
Yeah.
recording things. But I like to me, I feel it sounded better and felt better um in this series than the lines they gave him in Rogue One.
Yeah,
And
I was thinking that
I
too. I'm like,
think
wow,
James
they
Earl Jones did do that one, but
yeah,
like
he did.
such a cheesy line.
Yeah.
Like it took me out of it for a little second. I'm like, that's not Vader.
Huh?
Vader.
Yeah.
Vader would not do this. Like he's to the point and he's evil.
Mhm.
He's not gonna tell a dad joke at at Krennic's expense. Be
Yeah.
careful not to choke. And he does that pause. Like he's not gonna do that. That's weird. But like
Yeah,
every
it
line
felt
from
off to
Vader
me.
in Obi-Wan was deliberate and definitely him, especially the last scenes with him and Obi-Wan. Like
Yeah.
the combination of Hayden and this James Earl Jones uh voice was so great. And it mirrors what happens in Rebels.
Yeah.
Um but oh my god, like both versions of it
Yeah.
were amazing. And Hayden, this is where we see Hayden
Mhm.
really shine, I think. Like there's like this sympathy you have, but then it's also he's still a little evil in there. Like he is no longer, you can see that where he's Anakin, and then you can see like, oh, now he's Vader,
Yeah.
you know, just by a little bit of a change in the way his face looks. And granted, we only see like a little chunk of it,
A little bit of it. Yeah.
right? Um, what'd you think of of Hayden's in that scene?
I I thought he was great. It's kind of like how originally for Vader, especially in well, not just Return of the Jedi, but every time we've seen him in the original trilogy, we don't even well. You make another comparison, Mando, Din Djarin.
Mhm.
You can portray so much without ever showing your face. And yeah, we do see more of Anakin, like his messed up part, but we still only see so much. But how they put it together and how they were able to use his performance, we there's so many elements to it. The cinematography, especially the lighting. I know a lot of people have, and I was happy that other people noticed that. Like when we see, we're getting both the light from Vader's saber and from Obi-Wan's saber. It's red when it's Vader, but we get a little hint of blue when whatever is left of Anakin shows up. And even his eye change too. They
Mhm.
utilized every element of that so well. Hayden's performance, the sound design going between Hayden's actual voice to James Earl Jones's, and a little bit in between because his suit is breaking. The lighting, everything about it. I even way back when during the prequels, when the prequel hate was at its peak, I never understood the hate that Hayden got for his performance.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him in other things. Granted, he wasn't in that much stuff, but around that time, I just remember thinking he's not a bad actor. Kids, leave him alone. Like the
Yeah.
issues with the prequels are just dialogue and poor direction. We love George, but he's not the greatest writer, not a great director. He's great with vision.
He's good with his vision and creating this world,
Yeah.
and his ideas were great. Like
Yeah.
he didn't set it. The prequels are not set out to be a repeat of the original trilogy. They feel and look very different,
which
now,
he accomplished.
Yeah, and I think his biggest mistake is that he took on the directing when he's not really a character director.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been different, I think, if someone else took the helm.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what would have happened, but like you can't deny that George tried to do something different, and he did do something different. And then when he went on to do Clone Wars, like it was definitely different, and it was still very much his world. And granted, Dave Filoni was kind of show running, but George was always there. And I think that's where he shines. So if like George has played puppet master, maybe the prequels would have been different, maybe not, who knows. But they are what they are. The overall story has driven Star Wars for the past 20 years. Right, from the moment Phantom Menace came out, stuff with the Clone Wars animated show, Rebels is very much still in the vein of George Lucas, and Bad Batch is something that he was around for, the conception of, and maybe the sequel trilogy could have used a little bit more of him.
Yeah.
But I think having Dave Filoni now kind of like, but the thing is, like, Dave Filoni was really part of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
But I think they come to a point where, okay, they really need to sit down and really think, like, what would George do? Like, how does this fit into George's vision of Star Wars? Whereas, when you hear like J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan talk, it was more about what delights them. And sure, that's cool and all, but you also got to remember you're making Star Wars. And I think that's the problem with the sequel trilogy, is that they tried to make the fan version of Star Wars, and the fans don't normally know what they want in Star Wars. They think they do.
Yeah.
And then you get Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. Yes. Yeah, we could talk about the sequels.
Yeah.
I mean,
for the record, I like the sequels. It's just
so
there's chunks of it I just disagree with, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy. I had
fun with it.
Yeah, I enjoy Force Awakens. I really enjoy Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker, I can kind of skip. There's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
But
it was a fun movie if you don't think too hard about it.
Yeah. Like if you want cool Star Wars-y stuff, then it's cool.
Yeah. So just like any kind of fandom, I think, with so much content in Star Wars, I think you can now pick and choose what you like without having to be over dramatic and be like, oh, everything's ruined. No, just watch stuff you like. You watch A New Hope over and over and over again. It's fine.
Yeah. If that's your only favorite is A New Hope, then just watch that. It's fine.
Yeah. Like I don't watch. I'm a big Trek guy,
Yeah.
I don't watch the motion picture because boring. I don't watch.
Yeah, we could all skip that one, and it's
I don't
fine.
watch 5 either because it's weird.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like most of the Next Generation movies. Like, I don't like Generations, but I love First Contact, so I'll watch that over and over.
Yeah.
Because we can. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and go like, "Oh my god, I can't watch anything else now because this."
Yeah, like the. Yeah, like the I don't like anything DCEU wise, with a couple of small exceptions, but it didn't ruin everything else DC for me.
I didn't sit there and go like, "Oh, Man of Steel, I can't watch Suicide Squad."
Yeah.
Or Peacemaker, which come on, that was amazing.
Yeah, it'd be like not liking Batfleck. Like, I can't watch the Tim Burton ones. I can't watch the Nolan ones. I can't watch the new ones.
It's like what in your head triggers the fact that you don't like this one aspect of this thing?
It's
everything
forever.
else is dead.
I can see burnout because I had some Star Wars burnout after Rise of Skywalker.
Never.
I remember just like I was like I'm good for a little bit, but it didn't ruin anything for me. My love for Star Wars ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, my thing about burnout is like if everything was the same, sure. Marvel, like people like superhero burnout. I'm like, I can't compare Falcon and Winter Soldier to Ms. Marvel to Ant-Man. Like they all feel very same. The only thing that's similar is that they involve people with like super abilities.
Yeah.
Or like suits. Or was it wizards, aliens, or robots? Whatever.
I guess burnout isn't the right word. Thinking about it now, I don't know what to call it. But I just remember after Rise of Skywalker, I was just like, I'm good on Star Wars for a few months. But then I went right back to it. I started watching Clone Wars again. So just like, I was like, I don't even know what the word is. But it didn't ruin anything for me. I just like, I just won't watch that one. Cool. So you like it or you don't. That's it.
Yeah. All right, kids. So we're going to end it right there for part 1 of our deep dive into Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series. I will be posting the second part shortly, or maybe it's already up by now. So check the links below, hopefully, maybe, or see it on our YouTube page. Until then, thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave some comments. What do you guys think of the series? And do you have any other questions? Like, even if it's not going to be on this video, I can go back and talk about it in a future episode or a separate video or something. But yeah, so until next time, catch you on the flip side.